Okay, let's get through the 5.16 aquaculture notes. So, what is aquaculture? Aquaculture is raising fish or another type of aquatic species like shrimp or oysters or scallops in cages or enclosures underwater. The benefits of aquaculture are pretty substantial enough that a lot of our fish that we consume is being raised in an aquaculture environment. So the first benefit is that it requires only a small amount of water, space, and energy to actually raise the fish. It reduces the risk of fishery collapse. There's a 90% population decline in a fishery when it is considered to be collapsed. So there's quite a few examples of fish that have collapsed over the years, one being the Atlantic cod. And if you're buying any cod at a grocery store at this point, it's because it's being raised as an in aquaculture. It doesn't take up any land or space compared to beef, pork, and chicken, so that's actually a good thing for the our land habitats. This is sort of a picture showing you what it basically looks like to grow these different types of aquacultures. Let me go back to that. I wasn't quite done. And so you can see here, if we're growing shellfish, this is sort of what they do. They use these long nets like this. This is what they do for fish that have fins. This is what they do for invertebrate organisms, like lobsters. And then over here, they even grow seaweed in aquaculture, which is pretty interesting. Okay, what are the drawbacks of aquaculture? There's actually quite a few drawbacks. First of all, it's very high density, which means we have a lot of fish living in just a small amount of space, which means there's a very high concentration of waste that's produced in the area. This increases the amount of E. coli that's in the area, and it can also pose eutrophication risks where we get algal blooms due to the aquaculture area. High density with the high numbers of fish in the area also increases the risk of disease, which can be transmitted to wild populations as well. So that's actually a bad thing because it can impact the wild species that are living close to the area as well. It can also introduce non-native species or genetically modified organisms to the local ecosystem if any of the fish or organisms that are being held in captivity happen to escape. So that's a problem because you can then end up with some invader species living in the areas, or you can end up with genetically modified organisms that are now interbreeding with the similar species in the area. Fish are also in aquaculture. They're often fed antibiotics, which contaminate the waterway due to their waste. So the antibiotics get into the waste, and then the waste is expelled. And then those antibiotics can build up in the ecosystem, which can have some unintended consequences. And so here you see a nice image showing the environmental risks. And I'm going to minimize my picture here. And you might want to pause and just kind of look through this picture to get some more information, but this is really nice. I like this image. And so let's move on to the practice FRQ for 5.16. It says identify an advantage that aquaculture has over net fishing and explain one environmental consequence of aquaculture. Okay, I'll see you all next time.